Hey guys, this is Magnus, just bringing you a little anti-cheese video here. This is for all my Gold and Silver League buddies who are probably more likely to get cheese than the rest of us, and are probably going to get really frustrated when they lose to these silly all-ins. And the more you lose a Zerg, the less you feel like playing Zerg, and the more you feel like switching to Protoss and getting your big old death ball. So, first thing we're going to see here is that I go all the way up to 10 instead of making an Overlord at 9. That's because my 10 Drone Scout, which I always get, I want out as soon as possible because I'm playing against random in this game. If I'm playing against random or Zerg, you want that one to get there soon. With the 10 Drone Scout, with the Extractor trick, it will get to your opponent's base around 14 food, and against Zerg, one of the things you want to look for is a 14 pull, 14 gas, because that's going to be some Speedling pressure, Speedling and banelings, stuff that you're just going to have to defend for. If you see a macro hatch, it should go down around 15, so you'll be there to catch it too. Otherwise, you'll see exactly what he's up to. If you do the 9 Overlord instead of the 10 Overlord, it'll get here around 15, maybe 16. It won't give you as much time to prepare for it. Now you'll see I paused my drone here. I'm not doing anything with it. That's because I'm preparing back here. I threw down my spawning pool and extractor immediately because I came in here and saw this spawning pool halfway done already and this extractor already mining. That is pretty much bad news. If you get here at 15 and this pool's almost done and this extractor's done, that means he threw down a really early pool. This pool happened to be at 10 supply. It was a 10 pull, 10 gas, and then an Overlord after that. Here I'm already mining my gas, and I'm getting my spawning pool up. Now, first thing to note is when you're facing this kind of early pull pressure, alright, this Overlord, you're going to want to pull up onto the high ground here to check for his lings, to see how many lings he's making. You could leave the drone back here, but until the queen gets out, which is going to be popping soon, you're plenty safe just using this OV. Back in my base, we're going to see that I transitioned into what is basically a 7 Roach rush. And how this works is you'll get the gas in the pool immediately, right? And throw down the queen as soon as the pool is done. You'll be getting another Overlord at 15 food. That way, when the queen comes out, you still have plenty of supply. You'll see I'm up at 26. Now, when the queen injects, alright, any larvae you have, you can spend immediately, okay? Once the inject goes on, over the course of the inject, you'll get 7 larvae build up, and then you'll be able to do the 7 Roach rush. Because I'm kind of a little off because of this rush, I don't line everything up as nicely. I could have had a few more minerals here and delayed this Roach warren, but, you know, it's going to keep me safe. Here, we see me pulling back my Overlord. That's because his drone or his lings were positioned here and then pulled back. The second a player does that, he pulls his lings back. That probably means that he's going to be bringing his queen over to attack your Overlord. He didn't do that in that case, so I'm fine. And I'm just going to pause here to give myself a little bit of more time to talk. He built up a whole bunch of lings here. He could have just attacked me with the 10 pool, had like 6 lings in my base, right? The 3 larvae that I built up. By the time those 6 lings got here, I would have had 4 lings and a queen. That would have been plenty. The 4 lings I mostly just used to defend my mineral patch and poke the guys off, and the queen will be the one actually killing the lings. Meanwhile, I still have this Roach warren on the way. Because I saw with this Overlord, I'm just going to come back here like 2 minutes. This Overlord was spotting this whole time. This is what you want to do. You want to make sure you keep on spotting. Keep on spotting. And I saw him massing up lings, which means that I had plenty of time to let this larva pop off and make 7 roaches. Keep on going back. I mean, I saw these lings massing up. Yeah. All the way from, you know, 350, 330-ish. Here's the first 2. Because they pulled back, because it's only 2 and not 6, I know he's not going to attack me with them right away. At this point, he has 6. He could run them at me, but my overlord's here. I don't see him running at me. You've got to keep tabs on this. Again, they're not moving. More lings we'll see are getting produced. He's waiting for speed, obviously. He's got the gas. We know he has the gas. We also know that he has the potential for banelings. He may not have pulled off gas. So that's one thing we're going to have to keep in mind. Alright, that pretty much brings us up to speed, and you'll see here in the production tab, as soon as this larva pops off, 7 roaches. These first 3 get done a little early because I wanted them out as soon as possible, and that was a little too quick, so we're going to rewind. This is not a very good wall. You can tell because he kind of walks right by. With these roaches, you actually want them down a little bit further. I had them too close to the top of the ramp to block. If they were down just a little bit more, the lings wouldn't have squeezed by on this part where the ramp widened. So just keep that in mind. 3 roaches will hold against this many lings long enough for the rest of the roaches to get out. As this battle progresses, alright, we're going to see that I hold this off and then I counterattack after I clean up these lings. These lings come in, I've got my queen in this little cubby hole, alright? Even if the ling focus fired her, there would not be enough DPS to kill my queen. So here I go, I counterattack with my roaches, and I miss these 2 lings coming up. We'll come back to this later. We're just going to focus on my roach counterattack. You'll notice that after that one roach, which actually was extra, I go straight back to drones, and I'm getting my ling speed because speedlings actually are better than roaches. I want to transition over to speedlings if I get the chance. In his base, okay, we'll see he threw down 2 spine crawlers because, again, scouting is everything. If you look here, this is more or less how your overlord should be lined up on the map. It should be a straight line from your natural to his natural. That way, even if you miss the speedlings for a second, they'll just pop into view on another overlord. That gives you plenty of protection against speedlings, you know, and gives you plenty of time to get more lings, more roaches, more defenses up. Also, you need to make sure you're staying on top of your injects. You'll see here I'm about 4 energy by the time this larva pops off over. That's pretty good. I mean, that's not perfect, obviously. I should be at 0. I should be at like 24 right now, but that's plenty good enough for this level of play, Platinum. And it's going to be plenty good enough if you keep up on it on Silver and Gold. This spine crawler placement is just plain bad, okay? I checked this guy's stats. He is a Zerg player. He has 500 wings as Zerg. I don't know why he put him here. Your spine crawlers should always go either right here in the mineral line and you build your structures back here or in these spaces right here like I did. Or you can put your spine crawlers in place of those buildings. Spine crawlers should be able to hit anything. Should be able to hit all around. These spine crawlers are too bunched up at the front here. So we're going to see what happens, alright? I gather my guys into a square group here. They were in a line marching, the roach line. You don't want that with roaches. Roaches need as little surface possible as little surface area as possible. They're like zealots. You know, if you play Protoss, you want your zealots clumped up. That way any Zerglings have less attacks against them. My roaches come around the back here. Because these spine crawlers were out of position, they get free attacks on the spawning pool. These 3 roaches were caught off guard, but that buys me plenty of time to kill this pool. What you want to be targeting here when you come for this counterattack is queen or pool. If you can kill either of those off, you're going to have a huge advantage. If he doesn't have his queen, there's no way he's going to be able to keep up with your production. If he doesn't have his pool, he can't build Zerglings. You'll see he even pulled drones for that, trying to keep his pool alive because that's how important it is. Back at my base, we'll pause for a second just to check out what's going on. I threw down my hatch while that attack was going on. At this point, if you do the counterattack or if you choose not to do the counterattack, that's totally optional. You want to get your next hatch down. You've held off his attack. You have more drones than he does. You want to get further ahead. You don't want to be sitting here massing out units and then losing all your lings to 2 banelings, which would suck. Then you would have lost everything you gained by holding off that initial attack. Going back here to about 6.5 minutes, I think it was. Here's these two banelings morphing. I saw them walk by with my roaches, or rather, my overlord saw them walk by, and my roaches saw them walk by. I should have gone after them. I totally didn't notice on the minimap. That's something I've got to improve. We're going to see as this continues that these banelings are going to kill off a portion of my economy. Fact of the matter is, here's another opportunity where I could have seen it on the minimap, not paying attention. Fact of the matter is he could have gotten a lot more kills. I got lucky. He only kills off 4 drones with these. That being said, this is exactly what you want to do as a Zerg player. If you can hide like 2 lings in the corner of the base somewhere, do it. Because, you know, banelings are really good at killing off drones, and you're always fighting for drone support priority in Zerg versus Zerg. Here again, we see my Roach counterattack. By the time this finishes up, more or less, my hatchery is done, and now I have more or less twice as much production as he does. There's not going to be much more to this game. What happens here is he then counterattacks, and I see it coming with my overlords, and start building more units. I get my roaches out. I don't quite block the ramp again in time, because I'm busy doing other stuff, but I have all these speedlings to catch up to his speedlings. And there's GG. I've got my queen on the way. I've got full saturation here, plus enough for the gas. And after these 8 drones come out, I'll have half saturation on this base. I throw down 2 more gas geysers, do 1 more round of drones, and then I can max roach the whole entire rest of the game. At that point, it's more or less okay just to run over your opponent, because, you know, he 10-pulled, he doesn't have nearly the economy you have, he sacrificed 2 drones for these 2 spine crawlers. That baneling nest is a drone equal to your roach warren, so that doesn't really matter. But, you know, he was going to be behind. Okay, especially because he doesn't have his pull right now. We just killed that off. That's more or less the only time you can go all in, okay, with guaranteed win rate, is when you know he's that far behind. With his 10-pull Speedling opening, that's an all-in, that's not an acceptable all-in, because he doesn't know that I'm behind. He's just hoping to put me behind and kill me with his 10-pull. That's the big difference there between massing roaches after I have these 2 bases up versus his 1 base. Also, I don't know how I feel about this. He was about to put this down. Okay, this Expo hatch, really he should have his pull down first, because he doesn't have anything to defend, which if he had a Roach Warren, he might be able to get away with an Expo. He doesn't. He has a baneling nest instead, and you can't make banelings without lings. So just make sure your ducks are in a row before you go expanding if you're going to all in, because fact of the matter is that a hatch takes like, how long does a hatch take? Something I should probably know. I think it's like 3 minutes. No, minute and a half. About. Takes about a minute and a half, which is entirely too long to defend if you just alled in. The main idea is always scout. Always scout. Make sure you know what your opponent's doing. If you see an early pull, get your overlord over here and keep track of how many links he's sending, how many links he's building up. If for some reason he doesn't build a whole bunch of links and just gets the early pull to scare you, you want to know that. You want to try to poke around and make sure that he has units, because if he doesn't, then you're going to dedicate a whole bunch of larvae and minerals to getting defenses up, and nothing's going to happen. It's going to be wasted minerals, and his 10 pull is actually going to be alright economically against yours, against your static defense, because you don't have the extra base up. If you see a 10 pull, an early pull like that, do not ever expand. Unless you're grandmasters, do not expand. Roaches are a great early defense. Alright, they're great for holding off early pressure, because you can just sit them right here on the ramp and nothing's going to get through, short of a major baneling bust, in which case you will see that coming because your overlord placement will let you see it. So we got roaches, scouting, and blocking the ramp. Those are the 3 keys to victory against early all-ins. If he comes with the initial 6 slings again, you can just let your queen kill him. Keep your queen safe with the other 4 lings that you made, and spend the rest of your larva on drones. Do not bother spending any larva on more lings, because he's only got 6 lings. If he does another round of lings, it might be 8 lings. That's not much better, and by that point you should have Roach Warren up. Once you have the Roach Warren up, you are safe to expand. Roach Warren equals expand. If you do not counterattack and kill his pool like I do, you can play a little bit of SimCity here if you really want to, and like wall this off, or just have your roaches lined up here, and that will prevent any more attacks from getting through. You'll just have to micro any drones you have on the low ground here a little bit, and micro some roaches to make sure that anything he sends at you gets cleaned up. Fact of the matter is, you'll be on 2 bases worth of larva, and larva is a big deal. It goes minerals, then larva. So that would be that. Ran a little bit longer than I actually thought it was going to, but a good bit of information in there for you if you're interested in Zerg, if you do play Zerg. And if you don't play Zerg, then if you ever end up randoming Zerg, now you know what to do against the early pool. Thanks for watching. Best of luck on the ladder. Alright guys, just wanted to add a couple things since we're going over time anyway. For that all-inning, after you've held off the 10 pull and you've dealt damage, or if you haven't dealt damage and you notice that he's just not taking an extra base, alright? This is the stuff I'm talking about. First thing, the SimCity. This is where I prefer to put my wall, alright? If he has like 10, 20 banelings, this will fall. But otherwise, this is a really cheap wall. 2 Evo chambers. This is the one you want. And the reason you want it is because now you can start getting your upgrades. So the second those Evo chambers pop, alright, go ahead and get your upgrades on them, because 1/1 roaches are a lot better than a heck of a lot of other stuff. As for minerals and gas, 2 lines of minerals. Whoops. 2 lines of minerals, and then 3 in each gas geyser with 3 geysers is plenty of gas. Even, I mean, it may not be enough gas, I don't know, for all roaches, but you do want speedlings too, because speedlings can troubleshoot a lot of things. If he starts, you know, running around your army or something, if you mass speedlings, you'll be able to catch up with him. And then you won't have to worry about anything. Also, speedlings take care of banelings a lot more efficiently than roaches. Your roaches will be clumped up. They will all take the splash damage, whereas you can send like 1 or 2 speedlings after each baneling, preferably 2 really, and kill them off before they can touch your army. Before you move out, alright, here's a couple preparation things you need to do before you start pushing with all your roaches. Try to get a creep tumor down, alright? If you need to build an extra cream to do that, that's fine. Get your extra queen, get creep tuners down, start spreading creep. Once you get up to lair, because we're going to need to be at lair for this, alright? Hop around the map, select all your overlords. Bam, bam, bam. The quicker you can do this, the quicker you move on with life. Or hit G, rather. Left click it or hit G. Whichever comes more natural. What happens here, alright, is roaches are pretty darn slow. So we want them moving as quickly as possible. In that vein, as soon as this flare pops, get your roach speed immediately. If you have stuff coming at you, make links instead. Prioritize that roach speed. Now we've got our overlords helping spread creep. We've got creep tumors helping spread creep. Now our roaches are going to be really quick, and there's no way he's going to be able to stop this push. If you really want to fiddle with it, you can. Here's one more thing, okay? Start lining up first on the right-hand side of the map if you're on top. I guess specifically for Ohana, this is how it applies. Each map, in my experience, each of the popular maps, I'm going to say, tends towards different routes for each player. The bottom player's units tend to go right if you click up here. If you just click and send from the top, we'll watch these guys go really quick. You'll notice that these guys are going down the left hand side because I'm on top. If I'm on Daybreak, if I'm playing on Daybreak, my Lings, if I'm on the left hand side, will take the bottom route, whereas my opponent's Lings will take the top route. On Ohana, my Lings will take the left route, whereas my opponent's Lings are going to take the right route. So if whichever side your opponent's units should be coming down, that's where you want to prioritize putting your overlords to spot them. That's just a general spotting rule. Your rally points, you can set them right here. All right, especially if you're a lower league player. Because if I make a whole bunch of roaches here, when they hash, they're going to automatically block this ramp. If I just rally them here, and then you don't have to worry about anything. Even if a baneling bust blows up these two buildings, they're going to all be congregated right here. So there's still going to be a wall right here of roaches for them to get through. If they try running around this way, clicked all your drones, you're going to miss one that's in the extractor. Pour him. That's just going to be the way it is. Alright, you're just going to have to leave them. Mineral walk. Alright, click on a mineral patch, and that's going to walk right through everything. They're going to ignore collision. And if you have the time, throw them in a control group. That way you don't have to come back and box them. You can just hit your control group, click. I actually did that wrong. Click the gas first. Always click gas first. Put however many you need in gas, and then right click the minerals. That way you have your 3 in gas, and then the rest can just go on minerals because that doesn't matter. Once you start sending your roaches, alright, you can go ahead and change your rally points. Always make sure you're changing your rally points as Zerg. Just generically in battle, always have your stuff rallied towards the battle. You don't want to have to come back here and go, oh, my guys are sitting around, get going. Alright, always towards the battle. If you want, you can rally here and then rally here. Just that way, in case the enemy Lings try to run around, you'll have them right here. You box A1, or A click rather. Box A click, and you can start killing off Lings or whatever's trying to get around your army if he goes for a counterattack. Same deal, if you realize that you're losing the battle, just come back. You know where all your guys should be. You know they should all be in this line. Click, click, box, click. If you can click the mini-map, alright, do that. You just gotta walk back up your reinforcements line and start pulling back. So long as you know what path they're taking, you'll know exactly where to go to catch all your reinforcements. That way they don't get stranded out and your opponent doesn't get free kills. So there you go. There's just some basic rules of engagement to go along with your anti-cheese video. I'm pretty sure I did everything I wanted to. So, good deal. If you really want to, you can go ahead and wall off here with your roaches. Oh, whenever you wall with roaches, hold position. Even if they're in a mineral line, alright, your drones will still gather through them because gathering drones ignore collisions rather. So that's how that works. And again, doing this here will stop Lings from running by right here. You can throw a couple of them back around the geyser. Same deal. They've got enough range that you'll be able to continue attacking them for the most part. And you can always grab your other group of roaches, which will probably be like right here. We'll just pretend these are roaches and just move them to wherever they're needed to help attack. And that's it. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you learned something.